Ready? Phil, you ready? Good evening. I call this City Council meeting to order at 7:40 on June 18th, 2024. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the city clerk please read the Public Meetings Act?
The provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Notice of this meeting was included in a notice sent to the Record and the Star Ledger and advertised in said newspapers on January 17, 2024, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. A copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Proper notice having been given, the municipal clerk is directed to include the statement in the minutes of this meeting.
Will the city clerk please do the roll call?
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Here.
Councilwoman David?
Present.
Councilman Wilson?
Present.
Council President Cobb?
Here.
Absent with prior notice is Councilwoman Wasotsky. Also present is Mayor Michael Wilds, City Manager Robert S. Hoffman, Deputy City Manager John Berkner, City Attorney Bill Bailey, and City Engineer Franz Volsi.
Next, we'll have a special presentation of Resolution 177-05-2124 to Aaron Douglas Wilson. I want to make sure I say your name right, get it right as it was said to me in the email. I don't want no problems with your wife, okay? So, can you come up? For those who don't know, Mr. Wilson served our fire service for 30 years. And I think and he's a homegrown firefighter. And when somebody serves the fire service, their family serves as well. So this family served the city of Englewood. His wife, his father, mother, and his two kids here. So I thank them for sharing Doug with us. I think that Doug was able to retire all in one piece, healthy, which is a blessing. And I hope that he keeps sharing his wisdom throughout the city of Englewood. Here he can teach these new firefighters and pull their coat and help the ones who want to become firefighters and be an example of what can be done, you know, and take advantage of these opportunities that we have here. So, Mr. Wilson, I thank you, I thank your family for your service, and I'm going to let your brother firefighter, Councilman Wilson, say a few words. Y'all ain't related, are you? I'm just checking, you know. We do a lot of close stuff here in Englewood, you know what I mean?
And all I can say is, by the grace of God, you made it out. there are hundreds of thousands of firefighters have not had this opportunity. And at this particular juncture, I'd just like to take a moment of silence for the brothers and sisters that have not made it. Thank you. And I for one, am so happy that we're not in that number. And part of how we get through it, and not just as firefighters, it's shared wisdom. When you see somebody stub their toe, we don't necessarily have to follow suit and learn from that. So that's an old firematic trait. And as a city, I would hope that we would grow as we see the wisdom that you have taken upon you and shared with your family, that we too can survive this thing. So congratulations.
Thank you. Mayor Wiles?
Thank you. I think it underscores the notion of Englewood's bravest. 30 years is a long time to do anything. And as we put together our master plan, setting the tone for the next 10 years, it's important for us to make sure whatever development we do heeds the call of our bravest and our finest who are protecting everyone. And I just want to say on behalf of the proprietors, the owners of stores who are in commercial interest in our city, on behalf of the residents who you've saved, whose lives you've not only refreshed, but you've ensured. Thank you. Thank you for your kindness, for your service. May God keep you in this next station of life, and may you draw from life as much happiness and success that you ensured the city of Englewood had as well. God bless.
Thank you. Councilman Swag, you got a few words?
Obviously, I'm not a firefighter, but I do know when everyone's running out of the building, you're running into the building, into harm's way to protect people, to protect property, and we appreciate the sacrifice you and your family have made over the years. And Godspeed in your retirement.
Thank you. You want to say something?
Yes.
Dougie.
That's when people know me for a long
Dougie.
time.
Okay.
I'm Dougie in the community.
He's Dougie in the community.
Yes.
He went to school with my husband. You both served in the fire department, and that's brave, and you're still family. We're all family. We don't see each other because we have different paths and different lives and everything like that. But thank you for your contributions and everything to Englewood. And he was at my house the other day.
Checking up on my guy, yes.
Cooking again?
No, he was at my house. He's checking up his guy, Darryl. He just checked up on him the other day.
No, just making sure.
Yes.
You weren't smoking.
Thank you.
Smoking in the kitchen.
So would you like to say a few words?
I'm not one for speeches, but once again, thank you to the community of Englewood, council, past and present, and of course the family. I'll share a quick story. I was just at a car show in Teaneck in a car lot, and a young Englewood guy who I was trying to help get on approached me, and he said, "Forget about my son. Thank you for us." And I'm like, "Who's us?" He said, "We've been watching you all these years. You never know who's really paying attention to what you're doing. We have a high-profile job, yes, but you really don't. The guy way in the back of the room is the one that pays attention more than you think." So he really said to me, "Thank you, because this is big for the community." He talking about himself, I have not seen this before, and it's really big for someone from McKay Park, from the 4th Ward, to achieve something like this. I just really took it for granted, but just this past week, he made me realize that it's a job to do, we all have to do in your walk. Just be mindful that you are being watched, you are being listened to, especially the council, and just do the best you can and respect everybody. That's all I can say. So thank you again.
Take a picture.
Where's it?
Bring your family.
Where you at?
Can you get everybody?
Can you get everybody, or can we get one with the family?
Oh, there he is.
Carol was late.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
You can be proud upstairs.
They make it somewhere. You ain't have to come dressed up, man. You know how it is outside. They got some nice suits. What the hell? Y'all got some nice suits. Listen, look at Kevin. You got some nice suits. Oh, they don't shop at. Wait there.
Okay.
Help it out.
So she's gonna come.
Good job, yes. Yes.
I want the resolution pulled separately. How about do that for the Caribbean American?
When we vote, we just ask them. Just when we vote, just say resolution, whatever the number is that you want to pull that. Then we'll vote on it separately. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go back to our agenda. And next, we have a presentation by the Special Improvement District. Their fiscal year 2025 budget also will be presented to us. Mr. Kroll, you and your team want to come up and address us, and let's get started.
I guess I need this.
Yeah.
I'm just here to introduce. You all know me, Al Kroll. I'm the chairman of the SID. We actually have the majority of our members here tonight. Linda Dunham, my co-chair, Adam Brown and Max Baton are here, two of the people on the board, and J.C. Raimondo, our executive director. J.C. is going to take you through our budget that we're presenting tonight. Linda will take you through some bullet points of what we're working on, what we've accomplished. And I want to introduce John Imbiano and Sam Thompson from IQ Landscape Architects. They're the ones that put together the concept for the streetscape project in town. And they're going to take not more than 10 minutes to do that presentation.
No, I just want to make sure that people understand what you're doing and where they can look and see some of the stuff some of the projects that are taking place. So I want to just be clear about that.
Right. So we're going to start
Please
with
start.
J.C. with the budget.
Please start.
Okay?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Is
evening.
good? Okay.
A little bit louder.
Okay.
No, you talk a little
Oh,
louder.
okay. J.C. Raimondo, Executive Director of Englewood SID. Your budget is in your packets. Forwarded that to Yancey a few weeks ago. It is our annual budget for fiscal 2025. Pretty simple. Our revenue is collected by the city based on business license fees, where the business downtown area, SID, Palisade Avenue, North and South, Engle, and Palisades to Demarest. There's a SID marked out area, and all those owners contribute to the licensing fees. It's been the same licensing fee for about 20 years. So our annual revenue is $250,000, which is shown clearly on the first page as our source of our revenue, and our expenditures are divided between management and maintenance, public improvement and planning, advertising and marketing, and professional fees. The detail for all of those expenditures are on the second page in terms of the categories, and I'm here to answer any questions if anybody has specific questions on the budget. And then Linda Dunham, the co-chair of Englewood SID, will talk you through what we've accomplished this past year and what we expect to accomplish in fiscal 2025.
Anybody got any questions regarding the budget? If not, we'll let Ms. Dunham come to us.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
I've
evening.
already been introduced, so I won't repeat myself. But we're not the board that brags. So this is a little bit different for us to really tell you what we've accomplished this year, but we've done some things and we have others on the agenda. One of the things that you may have noticed for the first time, we have banners in downtown. That first set of banners came out and it encouraged being in the downtown area and enjoying Englewood. The second set of banners came out to celebrate the 125th anniversary, and you'll see those along the SID district as well. So I hope you feel that that was a good thing to do to bring attention to this historic moment. In addition to that, safety is important. So what we were aware of from just going to the garage was the need to make sure that as you walk from Palisade Avenue into the garage, that there was a safety aspect there. So we took it upon ourselves to make sure that that public access alleyway, that new lighting was put in. So that's been a major enhancement and a big improvement. And we think it goes a long way to make sure that people feel safe going to and from. Every year we clean awnings, so that's something that's ongoing. So we've been cleaning awnings to make sure that the downtown looks good. You know, there are birds and everything, weather, whatever, so we clean those awnings every year. And also there are a number of cleaning programs. You might have noticed the bus stop windows. They were terrible. Max and Al and I did a walk through downtown area. Others have told us about it. So we wanted to make sure that people who are accessing public transportation felt that they were in not a grimy area, but something that was clean and inviting. So we continue to make sure of that. The landscaping maintenance services is an ongoing thing. We want downtown to look pretty. We want it to be welcoming. So we have maintained that along the year and more going forward. You're going to hear more about it later on tonight. Sidewalk cleaning and power washing. You know, after a while, there's grime, there's gum and everything on the sidewalks. So twice a year, we do that cleaning. And so we've just finished it. And as a matter of fact, just before the big night event, they'll be coming back to touch up on that as well to make sure it looks good. We have a porter who travels around the downtown area to make sure that they pick up any refuse that's lying around to make sure that the downtown looks clean. And they continue to pick up items that have been placed in the planters that shouldn't be there. So again, the goal is to maintain the downtown and make it look inviting and clean and a place that's well kept and being maintained. We have also, I don't know why you didn't mention this, but we have the social media, our Instagram. It's been almost a year now since we've been doing that, and I think we've grown those who are on Instagram following us to about 1,000 people. And it's 1,800 now. Oh, so girls are slow. Okay. About 1,800 people. I had my numbers wrong. Thanks, JC. And their stories being posted, new stores are opening up, that's being told about. Anything that's happening in the downtown area is being promoted. People are following us, and we hope to have more and more people do so. I know the mayor has been involved in some of those posts as well, and we're happy to see that people are tuning in to see what's happening in downtown Englewood. It's not the season yet, but during the holidays, we decided to amp up the holiday lighting. We had good lighting before, and some of them were, a little bit, I think not as impressive as we wanted it to be. So what we did was add it to the lighting that we had for the holidays, and that made a major improvement downtown. People talked about how bright it looked and festive it looked, and that's part of what you need to do to have people enjoy being out, walking around, and going to the restaurants. We also enhanced the non-seasonal lighting that's out. That's another thing that leads to the safety aspect. We continue, we mentioned the social media. It picks up on any events, advertising, and marketing that's going on. We will continue to do that. Certainly the Chamber of Commerce feeds into that as well. You all know about parking in downtown is difficult. So the phase 1 meter conversion was undertaken by us, and at this point, we think that that's the way to go, and there will be more work being done in the future, although we will offload that to the city manager's office. We did a study as we walked up and down the street. We saw that there were trees that were creating tripping hazards. We saw some of the trees, the root base had overgrown, and we were concerned that people would trip and fall. And we looked at having some of them replaced. We have replaced some of the smaller ones along the way, but we continue to be concerned about some that appear right along Palisade Avenue. everybody's got an electric car now and trying to figure out where they're going to charge them. And the infrastructure has not quite gotten here yet, but there are parking charging stations in the garage. So in the garage, we've just recently had a presentation, and we will follow up on it. I know Adam's very involved in this as well. It's making sure that we can enhance what's there, the latest technology. What we have is long, slow. People are parking there all day long. They're not paying for parking or they're not paying for charging. So at this point, we're looking at, a new installation that would actually save us money from what we're presently paying to make sure those charging stations are there. And hopefully it will be a rapid turnover so more people will be able to use them rather than people parking all day long. We plan to make some enhancements to the public parking space study. There's been a study that's been in place. We have more work to do on that because parking will always be a challenge to us. We'll always be looking to find out how to get more out of that. But for 2024, and I'm speeding along, we'll continue the landscape and cleanup, graffiti removal. The anniversary banner project will take on a new life. We'll be changing out banners as time goes on. There'll be new iterations of those banners. And you're going to hear more about our streetscape beautification project, planters for the spring installation, because you do have to constantly change the plants, and the power washing will be ongoing. We're also talking about wayfinding signs. You notice you travel around to different cities, you see that almost everybody has that directional, and that's something that we've looked at doing as well. And cleaning up the Bergen lot is something that's ongoing. On the safety issue, I just wanted you to add that we did have Deputy Chief Matt De La Rosa come and visit with us last SID meeting, and he talked to us about some of the things that are happening in town and putting together a flyer that's supposed to help our shop owners feel safer and know what steps to take if they encounter anything that threatens security. So that's all that I have, unless there's some questions for me, or we just go right into...
Ms. Dunham, I have one question for you. You mentioned the porters.
Yes.
What are the hours that the porters work,
They're
and how many days a week?
still 3 days, they're 5 days a week now. They're 5 days a week, and they work mornings generally. They're there until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
They start very early, and
Yeah.
they're behind the DPW sweeping of the street.
Yeah.
And they
Pick up whatever.
the debris that doesn't get picked up by the DPW sweeper, and then anything else that's overflowing in the garbage.
How far do you go west?
Up to the monument.
Up to the monument? So the bus stop by the monument,
Right.
your folks will take care of that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen a need for attention
Okay.
there?
Huh?
Have you seen a need for more attention there?
That area needs help. Let's just say that. I mean, because it's just, I think people that catch the bus there,
Mm-hmm.
and there are people who just sit there and get stuff from 7-Eleven and all that,
Yeah.
and they just put the stuff on the ground. That's something that's just going to evolve. That's what it is.
Yeah, we've
That's all.
tried to maintain, as I said, the bus
Yeah.
shelter there, and it requires constant attention. So we'll highlight that.
Yeah, just
Thank
want to
you.
bring that to you.
Council President?
Hold on. Mayor? Yeah.
Thank you for your hard work. I have the privilege of auditing the meetings for the last many years, and I've been very impressed. Even through the pandemic, you waived fees and you tried to make it easy on owner-proprietors, of which you are one. I'm just curious, because it's not something I've heard anything. Do the store owners or retailers cooperate? Do they appreciate when you come and do this? You're cleaning their awnings with their permission, presumably?
Well, we do make them aware that it's an ongoing program and that we do this.
Right.
When I say when you ask if they appreciate it, I think there are certain expectations. We don't generally hear back that
Right.
it was appreciated.
But you don't have to ask permission
Yeah.
in order to go and do their awning or clean anything.
Yeah.
And they're generally accommodating to you when you're doing this?
And recall, in the past, we did have an awning program that we made accessible to owners who didn't have money or whatever to do their
Right.
own awning. So, yeah, it's seen as, again, maintaining the area. I think people probably appreciate it, but they just haven't voiced that in any numbers. Max, have you heard? Yeah, yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
just for the planning board's education, the sign and facade committee, Emily Mann, it would be nice to kind of have a presentation made there, or for us to kind of collaborate on what you'd like to see in town, or some of the things that are being approved, if it meets with the content and the character of what the CID appreciates also.
The CID has committed to collaborating with anyone who wants to work to improve the downtown, so we're certainly, I know you just talked to Emily Mann just a month or so ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she's trusted, and her taste is trusted, but just to make sure that the newer members have a sense of what you'd like to see, so that we approve things as we do our master plan this year. It just gets us in the planning mode.
And JC didn't mention it, but on a regular basis, she is meeting with Mr. Hoffman so that we, again, can collaborate on what's going on and what we are trying to do, because it does take the synergy of, all of us working together to try to make things work.
Thank you for your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Wilson, he has a question.
Good evening. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for your commitment to the downtown area. We appreciate that. In saying so, as you guys are probably aware, because you highlighted public access alleyway safety lighting, it appears to me that, people of a certain age aren't concerned about lighting. They can follow their steps in the dark and so forth and so on. And so it's becoming an increasingly brought up topic in regards to the lighting. So when you say enhanced lighting, do you at this particular time feel comfortable with the lighting that's there?
I would say no. I
Okay.
think it's a work in progress. But, I think we've made considerable improvement from where we were because the area was quite dark and not being maintained, and we just wanted to kind of discourage, people from hanging out in the area and a little bit better lighting. But no, we're not satisfied that that's the final, phase of the lighting in those areas.
Yeah, I didn't want this report to be misleading.
Sure.
As the liaison on the planning board, we need to hear this information, and someone with boots on the grounds like your organization, I think we need to hear that more from you guys as well, that it's clear that someone doesn't go back and read this report and think that this lighting is satisfactory, that we have plenty of room for improvement.
I agree with you, yes. And, just as we talk about safety, we talk about cleanups, we talk about this, it's progress, but it's by no means the final of what we'd like to see.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I haven't got an electric car. I don't have that much money, but for those that have
They've gotten cheaper, I should tell you.
do they take coupons?
And there's a rebate.
For those that do have it and that may be visiting our fair city, and you mentioned signage, are we working on a program on how to direct traffic, not just to our garage, but for the charging stations?
So we have not gotten to that phase. We're focusing only on the garage at this point. It's my understanding that Mr. Hoffman is working on a broader base of electric car charging, and perhaps that signage will be part of what you roll out. Perhaps. So I'm sorry I don't have a definitive answer to that at this point.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we talked about upgrading the electrical charging stations that we already have.
Right.
And I was just curious of if people knew exactly where it was. We could upgrade, but if nobody knows where it is.
Yeah. There's a good number of people that know they're in the garage, but as we make it more available and faster charging and turnover, signage would be a great addition to that, yes.
Okay,
And a generator of more revenue.
And I just have one last concern. I saw the guys out there a couple weeks ago power washing, and I thought that was great. I thought that was amazing, that we need that type of beautification. And in the same breath, I was wondering about the poles that we have littered on a constant basis, whether it's concerts, whether it's a venue, and they put these sticky things on our poles. Do they power wash that at all, or how do we address that?
Was it the same company, but we did have
Yeah,
those removed?
We do have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
porter, and that porter that goes up
Yeah.
every morning is supposed to remove those
Yeah,
stickers.
yeah.
Doesn't always happen, so we ask, take pictures. I scope the town maybe every other week. I take pictures. The minute I send them to the porter's employer, he comes out that day and removes them. So it's going to take a lot of vigilance from Sid, just to keep reminding the porter, because those folks are hard to find, to remove the stickers. But we did a sweep 2 weeks ago, and they all came down. So twice a month. I'm happy. I'll leave my card. My cell phone is on it. Snap a picture, send it to me, and I'll get it right to the porter.
And thank you for that. And as we're snapping pictures, are we solidifying the information if it's 123 Park Street having a concert? Are we not reaching out to these individuals that are littering on our poles and possibly looking for some type of fine?
We have not.
Because we shouldn't have people just willy-nilly coming through our town,
More of an
plastering.
enforcement thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. We have not done that, but I'm sure that Mr. Hoffman's taken note of that, yeah,
I can answer that if you want.
yeah.
Okay.
And I just
Thank-
wanted to add your comment to the alley lighting, that it, just so you realize, it takes us collaborating with the owners of the building to enhance those alley lights. So sometimes the owners of those buildings are very
Jason.
willing and, oh, so I thought I was talking loud enough.
'Cause it's being recorded.
Just wanted to confirm that in order for us to enhance the alley lighting, we do need to collaborate with the owners of those buildings. We need their permission to put the extra lighting. We work out an agreement with them in terms of the increased electric service that Sid pays. So it does take a collaboration. We got them from the alleys that we've enhanced, and we're still working on some other alleys where we haven't finalized the collaboration with those with the building owners yet.
No, I understand most of the process. I just didn't want anyone watching or here to go away with the thought process that
Fair enough.
we're at optimum lighting, and
No.
that's all we're going to do.
Yeah, yeah.
We have to move forward as far as safety.
Agreed.
Thank you for bringing that
Oh,
up. Thank you.
I think Councilwoman David has a question.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Wilson, for addressing with the plastering, because I went to Starbucks, and there was like a lot of missing people from Patterson. It was deplorable when I saw all these sticky things
Stickers.
outside. It was horrible. And you said you do, twice a year, you do removal. It's
No.
gum, et cetera, you said, correct?
Oh,
That was a power
that's
washing.
power washing?
Power washing,
We
you do
do
it
that
twice a year?
We've done it already in advance of the July 17th event, and our power washer is going to come out the week before July 17th and do another spot check, and then we'll have to see whether it needs it after.
Right, because there's more foot traffic in the summer with kids.
Sure.
Everyone is out
And
more.
the restaurants on the
And the
sidewalk.
restaurants and everything. And then also, I have a friend who has a business, opened up a business, and she wanted a ribbon cutting, and she could not afford a ribbon cutting because she had to pay for a ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
She said, "Our
We
monies
don't
were
do ribbon
asked."
cutting.
That's the
We-
Chamber of
that's-
Okay,
Commerce.
see,
that's
but monies
Chamber
were
of
asked for a
Commerce.
ribbon cutting, and she did
Yeah.
not have $500 to pay after opening up a business.
Uh-huh.
Also,
Yeah, that's,
That's not.
I mean, that's,
yeah, go ahead.
that's a Chamber of
The
Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce
Commerce.
charged her that.
We're
Okay.
never going to hold somebody responsible. If they want a ribbon cut, we're going to come and do it without a fee.
She didn't know that because it was like basically, she was like saying, "I don't have the money." They said, "Well, no ribbon cutting."
No, that's.
That was wrong.
We do it all the time where people, we want to welcome them no matter what money they have in their wallet.
Okay, no, that's good to know. And also, what would you do? Are you working with any organizations? Because I have sent Mr. Hoffman a picture. We have a big homeless problem now, and outside of your business also, there was someone sleeping
Yes.
at McDonald's, and there was someone sleeping at the library and across the street at these businesses in the evening. So I just sent Mr. Hoffman, right? He sent you a picture of them sleeping in the evening. So are you working with an agency to also get these homeless people off the street, or referring them to?
So, no,
Are you just ignoring it, or?
That's the city.
thank you so much for
That's the city.
bringing that
That's
up.
us.
City?
That's
Okay.
us.
That's a
us.
major concern for all of us in the
Right.
downtown, whether we're business owners or not. I came from New York where I had to deal with a 34th Street and 8th Avenue drug and homeless situation, and I did have the opportunity there to work with agencies. Here, we've told the police department about it. They have made effort with the sheriff's office to try to get people help, but you can't mandate that a person remain in those situations.
It's
They
getting
can,
bad
yeah.
right now. It's like.
It's getting bad,
bad.
and as it gets warmer, it will. But no, we have only made them aware of it. We have, we call daily, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your concern
Thank
for that
you.
situation, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ken? No? Okay. Come on, Al. We got to speed.
We
read
don't
now.
ignore anything in the city.
Oh,
but
sorry.
That's not our purview.
Bob,
Sorry, Bob.
He had something. He had a quick question.
No, just a comment. I wanted to thank the CID for all of the work they do, because there's a lot of things they didn't talk about that they do behind the scenes. There is a frustration factor, because the porters do a very good job, and so does our DPW. I've taken pictures of stickers that are on poles and on boxes, particularly by the gelato restaurant, and then 2 hours after they've been scrubbed clean, there's stickers that are back again. And the same happens at Starbucks, and the same is happening over by the town deli. So it's frustrating, but the CID does a wonderful job, and the city is soliciting proposals to upgrade the lighting in the parking garage. So we're working with a subsidiary of PSE&G for that. So we're looking at that. But the CID has been wonderful. Tonight there was an individual that was homeless around 7 o'clock that I saw, and I asked the police to come in and see if they could render assistance. We do have a program called Arrive Together, where we have mental health professionals that are now working with the police department 40 hours a week to assist with the homeless problems and also with other issues of mental illness. That program is going to be ramped up over the summer to more than 40 hours a week. But but just thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Okay. I'll reintroduce John Imbiano and Sam Thompson from IQ Landscape Architects for their rapid presentation.
Yep.
Okay.
Good evening. Sorry. I'm John Imbiano, as Al said, principal of IQ Landscape Architects. We're based in White Plains, New York. We were working with the CID for probably a good part of last year and coming up with a program that beautifies some of your key business areas, blocks, streetscapes in downtown Englewood. What this aerial photograph attempts to do is outline those streets that we focused our attention. The green going from left to right is Palisade Ave, east and west. It goes from the left, which is the monument, all the way to the right, which is Grand Angle, the intersection. So that's the border there. The streets going up and down vertically are Van Brunt, starting from the left. It's more or less a gold color that you can see there. North Van Brunt, that is. And then the next street is Dean, thank you. North and south. North had some challenges in terms of introducing planters because of the narrowness of it. And then the blue is the Engle Grant Street, and that goes to Demarest to the top of the map, and Englewood Ave to the south. So that's the limit here of where our study was. A big part of the design and streetscape input here was the planters and pots, is coming up with a consistent planter. Ignore the palm trees and the cacti. That isn't Englewood. That's not what we're introducing here. But we did research several companies that we've worked with for the last few decades here. We tried to look at those that were commercial grade, municipal grade, that would stand the rigors of a streetscape downtown. We looked at costs. We looked at materials. We looked at sizes. We looked at colors. What we chose is a company called Tornasol, which we're very familiar with. And they make a product, well, I should say we looked at fiberglass as a material. We looked at concrete. Fiberglass kind of discolors with the sun, looks a little cheap. Concrete, very heavy material, and that equates into a high cost for freight. And then this company makes a product called acronym GFRC, which is kind of a hybrid. It's a cement material, so there's concrete for its durability, but it's reinforced with fiberglass instead of rebar and steel. So it makes it, the beauty of it, it makes it affordable and also movable. Once you put dirt in any of these planters, they become very heavy. But if you have them shift things around for whatever reasons through the years, so that would be the material. And you can also see we're showing a cluster, depending on the street and the width of the sidewalks. There's different shapes. There's rectangles. There's 3 foot high by 3 foot wide square planters, and then there's some smaller ones. So we have an application depending on the streetscape. This happens to be a Photoshop rendering of City Hall. And the uniqueness about this is some of your other street corners, there's these bulb outs, which are great, where the curb extends into the street. I guess you've probably done that. They look like they've been here for quite a while. It's great traffic calming because it shortens the crossing, but it also allows you an opportunity to create a little parklet in these spaces that are very wide. So that might be an area where you cluster these pots. You introduce some additional benches for seating. You may introduce some bike racks because they're wide enough and City Hall is a destination throughout the streetscape. Another rendition of that. This happens to be the same planter, and this is the City of White Plains, which we're fortunate enough to be working with them on their streetscape. This is a new installation that just happened last week, and just one small part of a major streetscape we're doing with them. These are some of the existing planters we took. Again, we walked, literally miles through here, several different visits through the business district. You can see some of the store owners do their own thing. We don't really want to mess with some of the individuality that some of them have created. There's a Colombian restaurant, for instance, down on the west end, I guess, right? That does a wonderful job, and we don't want to mess with what he's been doing, and there's several other restaurants. But we want to take a kind of a consistent approach of where we put these planters. Palisade Ave, for instance, have angle parking, wide enough sidewalks that we could do the rectilinear shaped ones, set them off from the curb so the doors don't hit them. So each street has its own kind of application. Here's, again, is these bulb outs, which you could see you have a lot of opportunity to put some cluster planting, additional benches, and maybe some bike racks there. I think that the slide to the right there is near Chick-fil-A, where you have this nice grove of honey locust trees. A guy was sitting on one of the planters. That would be an opportunity to put a couple of benches. You get some nice shade there. We've done a series of diagrams. This is where I'll speed it up, Al. I don't want to bore you with every street corner and every little sidewalk piece. But it just goes to show you, you can see the bulb outs where you have the crosswalks. Those were the red cluster planting, the different sizes. And then as you continue where the diagonal parking is, you have the rectilinear planters spaced to maybe 40 feet apart, which would be planted with flowers and other things. And then as you continue down Palisade, same theme, rectilinear planters. So every block gets equal treatment here. And then the little pocket parks at the corners. I'm just going to continue down. Now the blue are where we're recommending some additional benches occur for seating opportunities. There are a lot of utilities that are happening in these bulb outs, so there's nothing permanent going on here. That's why I said these planters could be moved in the future because they're lightweight. And then we're approaching the monument. I believe you had brought up the bus shelter. I think that's the area we were all talking about, where the benches are really not that nice down there too. So we're suggesting there be a cluster of benches. This is Engle Street, different streetscape you could see than Palisade Ave. You have wider sidewalks, you have tons of banks and curb cuts and parking lots, so it's a different approach. You wouldn't put these smaller rectilinear planters. We would put in maybe these 3-foot diameter or square, 3-foot tall, make a statement here. They're going to be spaced farther apart because of the curb cuts. You also have the library there, you have the post office, you have a lot of banks going on. So, excuse me, Mary?
Sorry, that's all the way down Engle Street.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're going how far down?
We're going
To
to
the post office.
Demarest. Demarest? Yeah. Yeah. And then we're going the other way, Grand, towards Mercedes there. So these yellow dots are these bigger 3-foot diameter planters that we would introduce along this section. And you can also see where there's some empty tree pits, and the green is a tree, a new tree being proposed. And it just looks barren. There's something missing in these pits, so we would recommend that these be infilled with trees, new trees, acceptable to the city of Englewood, Forester, whoever regulates your trees. And I'm moving fast here. Again, we cluster the larger planters. Maybe there's a bench at the post office. And here we're moving towards the intersection of Grand and Engle, where you have a bus shelter, wider sidewalks. But then you see the red rectilinear planters transitioning to Palisades, that treatment that we're proposing where the lots of storefronts are. Grand, this is towards, I think that's a jeweler there on the corner. We continue with some planters there. Mercedes seems to have done a nice job. I don't know if we need to mess with that area. Dean Street, North Dean Street, the photo slide on the right shows you how narrow the sidewalk is. And if you set those planters off the curb so no doors hit it, the cars that are parked parallel now, they're going to hit the planters. So whether it's a cop-out, we're not proposing any planters be there. You know, we could talk about hanging baskets or something else to bring some color there, but it just doesn't work. However, as you open up, you go towards North Dean, you have the beautiful park. That would be an opportunity. It is a gateway into the city to do these round, larger pots with flowers to supplement some of the I'm sure these trees have leafed out considerably this time of year. So you can see here, we're just putting planters in the park itself along the edge. We thought that would make a nice gateway statement. And now we're heading to South Dean, which we're back to kind of Palisade Avenue treatment. The sidewalks are probably 8 feet wide, 10 feet wide. We could do some of these planters in these locations. That's what you see in the red. And then Van Brunt Street, there's an opportunity where wide sidewalks, open railroad tracks, that lends itself to these larger planters, making a statement, putting them 40 or 50 feet on center and planting them. You could see the yellow dots. What we did do is we placed them in between the parallel parking spaces so doors won't hit them where the car would be parked. Then on the opposite side of Van Brunt, where it's more storefronts similar to Palisades, we'd go back to the smaller planter types. I will not go into the species right here, but there will be lots. Each planter will have a couple of things going on in it. It will have an evergreen, might be a shrub, like many of the store owners do for fall, winter interests. Then you'll have the color, of course, that everyone loves, the spring, summer color. And supplementing that would be a trailing vine that cascades over the edge of these. So there's some similarity. We also took into account whether an area gets sun or shade, and that would allow us to decide what kind of flowers to use. And I believe that's it.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions on the council?
Just one, Council President. Do these need to be watered by the city and maintained? And does the CID have a program to do that? Is it done by Public Works? In other words, you said that there would be evergreen, trailing vines, and then flowers.
Yes, they need.
What kind of maintenance does this require? And is that cost then suborned by the CID?
But they do need watering. I mean, that's several.
I'll just address, Mayor, the fact that the planters that we have in place now that we added last year and that we planted this year, Sid does water and make sure we have a
Jason.
watering program. Sorry, Nancy.
Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to say that the planters that the CID has done this year and last year, we have a watering program. So we make sure, the CID makes sure that those planters are watered through September. And if things do die, we replace them, so you'll never know that they've been replaced or dead. And then we'll address, once this bigger plan gets initiated, we'll address the watering so that we can maintain it. Whether that's CID or in collaboration with the city, we'll figure it out.
And also something for Dean Street. I'd like to see some hanging.
It's tough there
On it.
because of the narrow, so we'll look at the
I
hanging
just don't want the
plants.
store owners or pedestrians not to feel the same beautification.
We're looking at the hanging planters, and then there's a water program for that as well. It's pretty, I don't think you guys have a watering
It's a
truck,
different kind of
but,
maintenance with
yeah.
a wand, as you may
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Council President.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd just like to thank you for coming tonight and, I attend the meetings, and I think the public can see the amount of care that the SID and the professionals put into this, and we really appreciate all the work, because, you clearly go above and beyond, and I'm very happy to be part of the group. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey? So we're gonna vote on resolution 195. You see it? Okay, so we can take that. Yes, we'll take action on 195. Okay, what we're gonna do next is resolution 195-06-1824. And this is approving the introduction of the Englewood Special Improvement District budget for year 2025.
It's doing it.
I'm doing that right now. No. I need a motion and a second to introduce the SID budget.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilwoman David?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Council President Cobb?
Yes.
And Council President Cobb, if I may, for
Yes.
the record, the public hearing on the budget will take place at the July 16th council meeting.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
And as this group leaves quietly, we will move on to the rest of the agenda. Next, we'll have approval of minutes, resolution 196-06-1824. I need a motion and a second. Got somebody? Who?
I abstain.
You have to abstain. We need a motion and a second. I think you moved it. Kevin, you second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilwoman David?
I abstain.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Council President Cobb?
Yes. Next, we will have bills and claims, resolution 197-06-1824, approval of payment of bills and claims in the amount of, yes, nobody put that. Where? $1,611,072.45. Need a motion and a second.
Make a motion.
Second?
Any questions? No question? Councilman Wilson?
I have a few, but our CFO doesn't appear to be present this evening. And so,
Well, you know what? Let Mr. Hoffman hear your questions, or which ones you want to have questions, so that you can get your answers.
missed all my questions.
Mr. Hoffman, I think Mr. Wilson has some questions, but the CFO's not here today.
That is correct. The CFO, his children were ill and he caught it. But perhaps I can answer some of the questions.
And thank you, Council President.
Yep.
Some of them are just highlights, and just so the public is aware about moving forward with our 125th anniversary celebration, and why some of these appear on the bills and claims. For the night market, I think that this is a good opportunity, Mr. Hoffman, for you to kind of explain what the night market's about and how we're incorporating what we're doing in the 125th anniversary, so that it's just not reading as bills and claims.
Sure.
Can I answer that, Council President?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, the night market is one of the activities that will occur to celebrate the city's 125th anniversary. This is scheduled for Wednesday, July 17th. The rain date will be Thursday, the 18th. And the night market is going to be on Palisades Avenue. It will be from Grand Avenue down west to City Hall, and there will be booths that will be on the street. There will be a beer garden. There will be bands that will be playing. There will be different activities that will occur, and it's something that's going to be very exciting. The city has done this before 7 or 8 years ago, and it was well received. So the TH Experiences is going to be managing this event for the city, and I hope everybody is able to participate. And this is also being funded by a contribution from Englewood Hospital. So they've made a contribution to offset the cost for some of our expenses for the 125th anniversary celebration.
Mr. Hoffman, is there a rain date?
Yes, the rain date is going to be Thursday. So let me just double check the old-fashioned way. So it's Wednesday, July 17th, and the rain date is Thursday, July 18th.
Time, somebody said.
And it's going to be from approximately 5 o'clock in the evening until 11.
Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. And if I can draw your attention to page 124-01634, Garden State Fireworks. If you could just duplicate what you just did, Mr. Hoffman, that'd be great.
All right, thank you. This is our fireworks display. And the city made a conscientious effort not to be in competition with New York City on the 4th of July. So our fireworks will be on Monday, July 1st. It will be over at the high school, at Dwight Morrow High School. So please join us. Last year, the fireworks were wonderful, and we expect that it will be the same. And you'll have a couple days to recover, and then you can go watch the fireworks, the Macy's fireworks in Manhattan on July 4th. We're also going to do something special because Monday, July 1st is Canada Day, so we're going to shoot off some red fireworks just to celebrate our Canadian brethren. That's a joke, by the way.
At least we don't have to contend with the forest fire from Canada.
Yeah. And just for that, the fireworks, the cost for the fireworks, the mayor is able to receive contributions from businesses in the city. So this is this is something that's we're going to be able to celebrate, but it's the cost for the celebration is also coming from contributions from city businesses.
Thank you, City Manager. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your diligent work on collecting funds so that people can enjoy the 4th. If I can direct your attention to page 2, and we're going to go to 24-01446, National Highway Products, safety signs. I know there's a couple spots that needed it, and just didn't know how many signs this encompassed, and if in fact we bought them in pairs, because I know some of the signs have to be bought in pairs, because once one goes down, it can't be replaced. It has to be done in pairs. Is that what this is?
You know, I don't know the answer to that question, so I will get that for the council.
Okay, and one of the reasons why I bring that up is because I think that, safety is the most important thing for our residents, for our community, for our visitors, and for our elderly and our children. And so as we increase on this safety project, that we will also highlight from our review of the roads and signs of safe passage that we discussed before for our children going back and forth to school.
Right, and that's something that will come up in our reports later. I would like to highlight that in that the first bill in that section, 24-01351, for Jeffrey Landscaping, that was to replace broken plexiglass at several bus stops. So what the CID said is true, and we've had several bus stops that had vandalism, and the plexiglass was replaced in them.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, City Manager.
I have one question, Mr. Hoffman. On page 3, Bergen Fence, Herring, Tryon, Glenbrook Improvement, $94,750. Is that all that fencing? Is that what that fencing cost on that field?
That's the fencing for 3 locations. Yes, it's the field. It's at there's a playground, and there's at Herring and Tryon, but it also includes the backstop that was run over by a car last year. So that was basically an $18,000 expense that's included in there. And I'm happy to report that we will be reimbursed by our insurance carrier. We have a $5,000 deductible. So out of that $94,000, the city will be receiving back $13,998 for the fencing. So that was, the council may remember that there was a white car that drove down the hill, hit the backstop, and we had to take the backstop out. So part of this was the putting in the new backstop.
Councilman?
That has nothing to do with the upcoming discussion in regards to the McKay Park and Overpeck fencing. Is that correct?
No.
That's correct.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? No? Roll call.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilwoman David?
Yes.
I'm sorry, is that yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Council President Cobb?
Yes. So next, we don't have any ordinances for second reading. We have an ordinance for introduction. Mr. Bailey, you want to walk us through this thing that I asked you about?
Sure. The ordinance before your introduction is an ordinance to establish a advisory neighborhood preservation committee. Council President asked me to draft an ordinance to that effect. I would bring your attention to, there was a couple blanks on the draft because I wasn't sure, but just putting it out there for prior to it being introduced, if it is introduced. One of the blanks was how many ward representatives, and the suggestion was 2 ward representatives, but also adding 2 at-large representatives as well to serve on the committee along with a council liaison and to remove the Chamber of Commerce. I had only put that in there because I've seen that in other municipalities, but there's no legal requirement for how you constitute this type of advisory committee, so it's at the discretion of the body.
Thank you. The purpose of this ordinance is to make sure that every ward had representation throughout the city, and how their wards should be looked, cared for. We're doing a lot of work with the master plan, and the master plan talks about moving the city forward. So I thought it would be a good idea that we make sure that all the wards get the services that they believe they should have. They should have representation. We should make sure that the wards get the services, get whatever plans that are supposed to be done, whether it be landscaping, for example, whether it be just the maintenance of your ward, or whether it be that a park in the ward is not being cared for properly, that you'll have a voice in the beautification and the maintenance of your ward. So I think that that's important. I think that that would help from these examples and what we have to do with the master plan. So that's why I wanted to draft this ordinance to make sure that no ward is left behind and that all wards are respected. And so with that, Mr. Bailey will update that, but any questions for the governing body members, please, let's put them on the floor here. Yes.
Council President, I don't see an appointment to be made by the mayor, but I do see in the bottom that it would have a representative of the City Historical Committee, the City Englewood Chamber of Commerce, and one council person to be the liaison. I would suggest either and this is not just for me, but also for future mayors, that the mayor either have an appointment or be privy to that circular board at the end, that I would join or the future mayors would join also in that board. And I think it serves well, particularly if the mayor's appointing the planning board, to at least be able to speak to appointments and accoutrements and improvements that are going on. From my own personal experience, I don't feel that I need to make an appointment, but I would like to be able to hear what ideas there are so I can bring it to the planning board or report from the planning board. The council representative may not be privy to all the applications and the beautification requests and things that are going on. So I think the mayor should have a hearing here.
Anybody else? Yes.
First of all, have we discussed this before? I don't even,
This has been something that we had brought up before.
do you remember what meeting that was?
No, it was a while ago. And I think we were talking about how many people were going to be on this,
Is this pre-pandemic?
pre-pandemic.
Okay, so there's no one, you're the only council person pre-pandemic. Okay, so,
I'm not sure.
yeah,
I'm not sure, Mr. Bailey, because
I'm 21, 22.
I don't recall exactly
Right.
when. It's been a while.
Okay, so yeah, this is I just got this, a half hour ago. So who are they,
half hour ago?
what's that?
Oh, from Mr. Bailey's office, yeah.
Who are they advising?
What do you mean, who they advise?
So they're an advisory board.
So what they would advise, they would come to the council, but ultimately, they would be somebody who would represent, no different than the traffic advisory, similar to that,
Yeah,
from
but
each
it
ward.
seemed that they,
See, the concern I have with this, and the concern I have is that I want to make sure that we're going through a master plan exercise, and we want to make sure that these things are executed, whatever we say we're going to execute, but also every ward needs to have representation and make sure that what they're getting is what they're really paid for. Because some wards get more services, and what I mean by that is more love than other wards. And we want to make sure that everybody has a voice at the table. And how we get there is through this. Now, if there are things that we have to tweak, that's fine. But I believe that we can't do nothing. I think that every ward should have representation. If you look at the third ward, you look at the fourth ward, you look at the first and the second, there are totally different things going on, and every ward, I think, needs to have independent voice. We're not sitting in those wards. We're not knowing what's going on. I think it's to the benefit of the city that we have people who, and every council person will get 2 members who can work with that council person and have feedback and saying, hey, this is what we believe that needs to be done, or what's not being done, and how do we get it done?
how would this committee advise the master plan? I'm just confused on the
It's
mechanism.
not advising the master plan. The master plan, this would help the master plan in its execution, because these people would say, for example, we're going to say the drainage or something, beautification in McKay Park, and you have 2 people from the 4th Ward who are represented, and McKay Park is not getting the beautification, or not getting what needs to be done. They would, in turn, be able to talk to Councilman Wilson, and he's in turn comes here and advocates for the 4th Ward on that. Or he could be over by Quarles School, and somebody that's not getting done by the cemetery or whatever, and those 2 people or whatever are concerned, they would come to you and say, hey, Councilman, here's what's going on, here's what we think, here's what we're hearing on the ground, and what people are concerned about. Then they would come to you and you would advocate for these things to get done.
So how would that be different from just any concerned citizen advocating for something that they want?
Well, because these people would be in tune, they would be going around the community and they would be looking and they would take tabs on that. Because they would do that. It's no different than the traffic advisory committee, walking around saying, oh, we got speeding, we need to change the signs, we need to change all these things. You want as much engagement in the process of the residents in the city of Englewood to be engaged in their neighborhoods. And neighborhood preservation, we don't want any neighborhood to be worse than any other neighborhood. We want to make sure that everybody's neighborhood is up to par. And that would be helpful to them. Now, if people don't want to do the work, that's a whole nother story. But I think that that's something that needs to be implemented, and many towns have this.
Yeah, and if you allow, Mr. Hoffman, and I know we've discussed this here before, I know you've been working on like a spreadsheet for all the committees. Is that something we're gonna, be able to get? I just feel like we have a lot of advisory committees in the city, and some of them don't always meet or aren't fully staffed. I even was talking earlier this year that one of our key committees unfortunately had someone who had passed away, and we didn't act in a timely fashion to, and that was someone who was had a lot of history of service to the city, and we didn't act in a timely way to replace that person. And I'm just worried that we're building a committee debt. I don't mean in money, I mean in resources and time and attention, that we're just not paying attention to them. So I hope we can get that spreadsheet, just because, I don't have a handle for how many committees we have or who's on them. Clearly, the semi-judiciary committees, like the planning board and the zoning board, that we have a very good handle on. But the other ones, I'm not as clear as what's going on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Just one of our staff members is working on the spreadsheet. We're going through the different sections of the city code, and we're identifying committees, and then the number of people that are on the committees. We're working with the clerk's office to see who has been appointed and what's their, when does their terms expire. But this is one of those projects that's being done in fits and starts, and I can give a report at the next meeting if the council so chooses.
And then at that meeting, we can determine what committees are viable or even active. And if they're not active, then we should dissolve them if we're not using them. Yeah.
And, yes, President, thank you. And also, I think this gives more accountability to all of us as council of our wards, because I'm getting calls from people spinning their wheels. They're calling me from the library, and I don't know who's in, is that your board, Ken? Where the library is? Library?
I'm sure what you're asking.
No, the library. Well, they're the homelessness. They're calling me, and they're calling me from people sleeping in front of stores and everything, but they don't know where to go. So I think this will give some people more accountability with this committee also. 'Cause,
Well,
Is this committee going to address the homeless crisis in town?
I don't think so.
I'm giving an example.
I don't. I think
That would be
No,
very helpful.
No.
Yeah, I think that's a whole nother.
That's another
I
committee.
think that's a law enforcement and all that. I don't think that this committee is doing that. This is more about neighborhood preservation, making sure neighborhoods are up to stuff, and people are doing the right things in their neighborhood and not leaving garbage out and all this other stuff as well, and making sure neighborhoods are getting what they need to get. So, Mr. Belly, are you going to do a draft, update this?
I mean, we can update it right now. All it is changing, so what would be published would be, again, making 2 representatives from each board and 2 at large,
Okay.
striking the Chamber of Commerce.
Yep. Okay.
And anything with the mayor as an ex officio?
If you're pleased to, whatever the
Yeah, I don't feel it's necessary to make an appointment if you're going to have representatives of every ward appointed, but I think the mayor should sit on and be invited to the meetings like I'm here.
Could be invited. I don't think that's a problem.
Well, it's a public meeting, so you're by
Right.
definition.
Yeah, but I understand, but it should be in the
Well, I
text.
think we should make mayor ex officio.
Yeah,
Make the mayor what?
ex officio.
Has a guaranteed seat. Is that what- How would you define it?
Yes.
So,
Watch a lot of law shows.
Yeah.
TV
now,
shows.
so it would be 2 members from each ward, 2 at large, a mayor's seat, and 1 council liaison.
And chamber,
No chamber,
no chamber.
no chamber,
I had,
no
again,
chamber.
put a representative of the
No
historical
chamber.
committee, but that's up to
No
the
chamber.
board if you want that or not.
Yeah.
No, we'll have council member, no chamber.
And 1 council person who's the
The
liaison.
council person will be the liaison.
Yeah.
Does the liaison vote, Council President?
Yeah. The liaison has the same powers that we have in our other boards. No?
Did you want to eliminate the historic commission,
Hold on.
committee representative? I put in the draft historic committee representative because I've seen in other municipalities, that's how they do it. But that's, again, the pleasure of the governing body as they how to constitute it.
Should we ask the historic committee if they want to?
Well, they're gonna want it. I don't see any harm. If we have a city of great history, I think you should do it. It's up to the council who that person should be.
If we put the historical.
Correct.
That'll be hard.
So you can opt not to appoint somebody.
No, Mr. Bailey, count them, how many people vote.
It'd be 13 if you include the historical committee.
Right, it's 13, yeah,
Okay.
that's fine, yep.
Okay.
Okay, yep. So we need a motion? Need a motion and a second.
I motion.
I second.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilwoman David?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Council President Cobb?
Yes.
And again, the public hearing on this ordinance will take place on July 16th.
So now we're gonna go to public comment on agenda items. 198
Your mic.
through 198 through 208. I'm opening up the public session for that. Yeah, come to the mic, you have your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes. Commenting only on items that are on here, from 198 to 208.
Good evening. Horace Rockbear, 51 West Hamilton Avenue, Englewood, New Jersey. I have a question concerning liquor license again. All right, this has been come out to be a real joke since 1995. I actually printed out all the members of that Shiloh for 2.5 years ago. So I understand, do we own 37 Bennett Road? Does it belong to the city of Englewood or not? I would like the city manager to at least answer that question, yes or no?
Mr. Bailey.
We own the property.
Okay.
The city owns the property.
So why are we issuing liquor license? Do we have a contract agreement, or we had a contract agreement that once we exchange
we're
the
allowed
property, that they vacate the property? Why are we issuing a liquor
I
license?
believe they have a club license.
No, I don't see that in anywhere in any of the agreements. That stated, it states that they need to vacate the property once it was transferred. The 173, 183, the 1.5 acres of property, which was worth $1.1 million, was traded for $300,000 property. You know what? I want to buy 37 Bennett Road. I would like to buy 37 Bennett Road. Does anybody have any objection to that? Or you do, I need to put a proposal together for this?
It has to be auctioned.
Not necessarily.
You can sell it to adjoining property owners, nonprofits in certain circumstances, or it has to be by public auction.
Okay, but you don't have no answer for why are we continuously renewing a liquor license for a piece of property that is owned by the city of Englewood?
Because they've had a
you-
license, from what I understand, for decades. So the fact that the city owns the property doesn't necessarily nullify their license. You can own a liquor license. Many liquor licenses are on premises owned by somebody else.
So they want to ask when the agreement was finalized that they vacate 37 Bennett Road completely.
I'm sorry?
They want to ask to vacate the premises completely. No attachment to the premises. So they're going to still continue to have attachment to the premises forever.
I'm not following you.
Okay, I have the documents from since 95 that was played along and played along and played along for years and years and years and years.
Yeah, this goes back to the 1980s, apparently.
No, 1995,
Yeah.
that's when it
No,
started.
actually, 1983 was the first ordinance to do the transfer.
All right, so no problem in posting these documents online. It's about to be posted online. Let people see what has been going on in there.
I don't know, but
Good evening.
Yes.
Jewel Shears, Forest Avenue. On the resolution consent agenda, I'd like to know if we could basically pull out 20406-1824, and that's resolution for recognizing June as Caribbean Heritage Month, and 20506-1824, resolution recognizing the DMHS graduating class of 24. Just basically want them pulled out separately, and basically for the high school class, we just kind of feel that, the kids need their own recognition, so we basically want to know if you could just kind of pull that out for right now. Thank you.
thank you.
Rick Wilby, Englewood, New Jersey. 20106-1824, resolution awarding required disclosure award for modern material for supply of police fire. What's that about? What modern supplies are we getting? We getting some drones? What are we getting?
Mr. Hoffman?
You stopped my time real quick. What are we getting? What modern weapons? And the Caribbean Heritage Month also. I want to speak to that. That should also be pulled. The heritage of the Caribbean is very rich and vibrant, and I think there needs to be information to make people aware of all the contributions of the Caribbean, starting with Haiti, which is the first free black nation in the Caribbean back in 1804, and on into the Caribbean, the islands and everything like that. It has a very rich history. Mr. Hoffman talked about Canada being our brothers. He forgot about the War of 1812 with Great Britain and the United States versus Canada, and how
Actually, the anniversary is today.
so you forget, but you're talking about the Canadians being our brothers. It's just a relationship of convenience because of the relationship started in Europe from Great Britain. Nothing to do with brotherhood at all, Bob. That's the history of it. So we need to understand these things, and we need to also make sure we pay attention to the heritage of the Caribbean and what we actually contributed to this country. Because without the revolution, the Haitian Revolution, the Louisiana Purchase wouldn't have been possible. There would be no United States of America. You got to understand these things. See, white folks have to take credit for everything, except even what we did, they want to take credit for. You know what I'm saying? So please, let me know what weapons we're talking about. What supply?
You have anything?
Yeah, this I believe is for ammunition for some of our weapons, and then for replacement parts. But I will give the council an
Specifically
email
what
tomorrow.
weapons? Hollow point bullets, laser guided guns, what are we getting?
Don't have that information right now.
6
so that's
million
why I
ways
just
to
said-
die, choose one. What are we getting? Me as a black man, I'm always concerned when I see weapons and police in the same sentence.
We'll get you that.
Tasers, non-lethal, what are we getting? Huh? A bomb?
He doesn't have it. We'll get it to you.
Okay,
I'll get
I
it
want to
you.
know. Please.
Okay, yep.
I want to know.
I'll get it back to you. Anybody else? If nobody else, you coming?
going to speak loud enough so everyone can hear me. I'm not only talking for the people in the front, I'm talking for the people in the back. So everyone needs to hear what is being said. When you people are speaking up here, you're not only talking to each other. Remember, you have people sitting in the congregation here that needs to hear what your output is, not your input, what you are speaking about. Okay, my thing is that, I'm going back to my friend here, Mr. Hoffman. My street has not been paved yet. My car is still run up and down the hills, and I want that street paved.
Ms. Jones?
You've been saying,
Can I stop you for a second? It's just on these items, and then you can have the floor after we get through with
I
this.
thought, okay.
Yeah, this is not the
Okay,
public
thank you.
session. Yeah.
Thank you.
Because you want to talk about the street out there, right?
Pardon me, yes,
You-
I
you-
was.
Okay, yeah, so that will be after this. So
Okay.
you and Mr. Hoffman can have your conversation. Yeah, no problem. Sit right there. Let her sit right there. Thank you. So I'm going to, if there is nobody else who wants to speak on this, I'm going to close the public portion of this meeting. And I'm going to pull items 204, 061824, resolution recognizing June as Caribbean American Heritage Month. I'm going to pull 205, 061824, resolutions recognizing DMHS graduating class of 2024. So we're going to vote on we're going to vote on those separately. We're going to vote on 198 through 203, and then we're going to vote on 206 through 208.
Council President, if I may,
Yep.
if you allow me the latitude, I would also like to pull number 201-0618-24.
Okay.
Thank you, Council President.
Okay, so we're going to vote on 198 through 200, and then we're going to vote on 202, and then we're going to vote 203, and then we're going to vote from 206, 207, and 208. What happened?
What's 207 and 208 again?
Would you second?
What's 207 and 208?
You look good. We're going to vote on those.
Fence and-
You don't have that? You don't have it?
Fence and the block ramp, okay. All right.
Yes, it's Bergen Fence, and the other one is the Bergen County Block Grant. You got that?
Yeah, okay, great.
All right? So the items that will be pulled are 201, 204, and 205. Everything else we're voting on, right?
Are we able to have discussion, Council President?
After we vote on the consent, then you can discuss those three.
No, I want to discuss as well, 198-06-18-24. I didn't want to pull it, I just wanted to discuss it.
Okay.
Some of the highlights in the quote were not legible to me. And we were talking about fencing, and so I thought it'd be...
Okay, so let's talk about that right now and ask Mr.
Okay.
Hoffman, so we could get that, or whoever is involved in that.
Would that be Franz, Mr. City Manager? For 198-06-18-24.
That's Bergen Fence.
Yes, that is correct. And we got a quote for Bergen Fence, and it mentioned Overpeck Park. I think it was 18,000, and the total was 22 something, and part of that was for McKay Park. And I just want to make sure that we're capturing, I mean, we're doing repairs for fencing, and I know that we need it, but on this diagram, it's not clear what we're getting in Overpeck and/or McKay Park. And the overpack, I think we have the total at 25,500, less the total for McKay Park, 3,498.
So there's a couple of different diagrams there.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, so the, so
And just so I'm clear, Council President,
yeah, I don't know if Francis knows about it.
we're attempting to beautify all our parks and all our areas, and I was out at the park and I saw where they were replacing fencing by the new playground, if you will. And we were holding that up in order to open it up to our toddlers, if you will, to make it safe for them. And so I want to know, where's our fencing coming from? Who's capturing that information? Because we just had a $90,000 bill for fencing, and part of it was Herring Park, and some of it hasn't been put up as of yet. And so when I see these things now, I just want some clarity so we don't have to keep hopping from park to park for fencing. I think that's important that we get some clarity in this particular juncture, why it's 20-something thousand for overpack. What are we doing there?
A lot of the fencing projects that are happening are done on an emergency basis. My understanding is we actually have a grant going out for some fencing that we need to be done around the parks. But the DPW identifies sections of fencing that are immediately a concern, that are hazardous. For example, the fencing by the playground area, that sort of thing. There was a fencing along Overpeck Creek that was just busted open that needed to be repaired immediately. So they actually go out and they get quotes, et cetera, to solicit a fencing company to come in and repair those immediately.
You know, I think we were just reading the resolution. I think there's a typo in the first whereas in the resolution, because it's a second whereas, because it says Herring Park, but all of the proposals are for Overpeck and McKay. So I just think
And that's where I wanted clarity.
I think that's what Councilman Wilson is pointing out, is that there's a typo in the second whereas, because we have one resolution for Herring, and then this and all of the backup is for McKay and Overpeck.
The only emergency that I'm aware of are Overpeck and McKay.
Yeah.
These are the only emergencies that I'm aware of.
That's what 198 is for. There's the tree that fell on the fencing that had to be replaced, and then the other work that the DPW identified.
Herring Field, I'm not aware of it, but again, it doesn't, there's a lot of fencing repairs that do take place that I'm not aware of. And again, that's based on the DPW's assessment of the fencing as they go through the park.
When you say emergency, are we concerned about our community members falling into Overpeck? What's the emergency there? Is that not against Route 80, the fencing there?
No, when my definition of fencing is anything that's open that a kid can get through and get hurt, et cetera. So, and I'm pretty sure that's what the DPW is concerned with at all, especially around the parks. If it's an area where children are playing, if the fence is open and a child can fall over, then we have to take care of that. We can't wait.
I totally understand and I agree, but just on this schematic, it's not clear.
Okay.
It's not clear.
Councilman, so based on what I've just talked to Mr. Bailey, because it's a resolution, we can change it right now to read what it should read. And it should read Overpeck and McKay, not Herring Field.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I'm okay with that, Council President. I just want to be clear about the repairs, because from this schematic, I can't tell what they are.
Gotcha.
And so something of this importance and this magnitude, I just want to get that right.
Good.
I want to know what I'm voting on.
I can.
I want to be able to go back and say, I see it. That's where they had to do the repair.
What we can do with the DPW moving further on and ask them to submit exactly what section of fencing, what location, et cetera, so we have a running list of what's repaired.
Okay. I'm used to reading blueprints, but I can't read this.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do, and they know where it is, so we can definitely ask them to submit that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good that they know, but I'd also like to know.
Yep.
We gotta know where it's at.
Yeah.
Right, and they did, yes.
And this is,
Understood.
good catch, Councilman.
Yeah, understood.
So, and you know what else? So, and you notice too, it says Challenger fence, and then it says Bergen fence on top
Well, we asked for quotes
for quotes.
for different companies,
Okay.
yeah, so,
We got to tighten this up a little
yeah.
bit. Okay, so what we need to do, Mr. Bailey, to walk us through this one, we just need to change that. Where it says Herring, Tryon Park Field, Glenville Parkway, we need to strike that, and we need to put, Overpeck Park, McKay Park. And it shouldn't be Overpeck Park, it should be Overpeck Creek, right?
Yeah.
It should be Overpeck Creek.
All right, that was in the revised.
How do you want to handle that?
I could have sworn I saw that.
Yeah, again, it's a resolution, so you can just vote on it with that change.
Okay,
It's not an ordinance.
so.
I just wanted to point it out, so when we did vote on it, we knew what we were voting on.
We got to read the change into the record?
Yeah, I mean, you just did, so,
Okay,
yeah.
we read it into the record.
No, I meant.
And what gets actually signed will reflect the correct
Yeah,
language.
whatever gets signed. We'll correct it. All right? Okay, okay.
I just didn't want to vote on it as it stood.
Okay, so again, sorry about this, folks. So we're gonna go through this. We're gonna vote on 198, 199, 200. Then we're gonna vote on 202, 203,
206.
206, 207, 208. Motion and second.
Make a motion.
Who's on second? I'll second. Roll call.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilwoman David?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Council President Cobb?
Yes. Next, we have, Next, we're gonna vote on Resolution 201, a resolution awarding a requirement disclosure award to Modern Materials for supplies of police firearms.
You can.
We need a motion in a second.
Council President, if I may.
We need a motion in a second, and then Mr. Hoffman's gonna give us explanation. Hold on.
Well, that was part of the reason why I initially pulled
Yeah,
it.
he's got something, Mr. Hoffman's got something here that he's gonna read to us.
Okay.
Everyone has a copy in their packet.
And everybody's got a copy in their packet.
I've got a packet, but I wasn't happy with it.
Mr. Hoffman, first we need a motion in a second.
Right.
Need a motion? Mr., who's gonna motion and who's the second?
Motion.
I'll second it. Mr. Hoffman?
All right, thank you, Council President. There's a memo in the packet behind the resolution. It's from the police chief, and it has to do with the requirements for the police department and the need for the new equipment. So part of it is that the police department is transitioning away from the 9mm Glock. Most of those were purchased in 2013. So the police department is updating their weapons, and also attached is the list of the quantity. So they're basically buying, uh, 15 of one weapon, and then they're buying they're buying the equipment that's needed, the attachments for it. So it's slings, it's the magazines that are required for the ammunition, and then it's the aluminum cases and things of that nature. So that's behind the resolution. So again, this is to update the weapons that they have, that were originally purchased 11 years ago. And
So the question is, Mr. Hoffman, when they change equipment, is that a discussion that takes place with city manager and other people to say, this is why we want to change the equipment or the firearm equipment that we use? Is there a reason for that?
yes, there was, and there was a discussion during the 2023 budget process about this because of the lead time that was needed. So this was something that had been evaluated during last year's budget process, and to transition over to these weapons.
So I guess the question is, are these weapons more powerful than the weapons they're currently carrying?
I can't answer that question.
We need.
Hold on. I got it. Something of this magnitude, I would appreciate if the chief or the deputy, not saying that a lawyer or our city manager, Mr. Hoffman, isn't able to explain this away, but something where we've already suffered a fatality in our community by handgun that seems to do a pretty good job. I don't know why we're looking at 40 calibers, and it says here that as our officers will be carrying Glock pistols and magazines, this is an extremely important benefit. I got to ask myself, why is this an important benefit? Why isn't a liaison for de-escalation not just as important or an important benefit? I'm concerned not only about the verbiage in here, but I'm concerned that we're going in the wrong direction, and we're talking about stockpiling ammunition in here and being able to collaborate with local communities as far as the ammunition. This is a huge concern for me, and that's why I wanted this pulled. And I would just like us to take a moment and really look at this piece of literature, because it's very important as we move forward to the safety that culminates itself with the long guns as well. And long guns are mentioned in this as well. And I can't recall, not saying that we'll ever have to use it, but when we had to use a long gun and we were thinking about running out of ammunition.
Yeah.
Well, the way I read the memo, they're transitioning away from the 40 caliber to a 9mm. So they're getting.
So, Mr. Hoffman, I think what would be helpful is the chief, the deputy chief, and Mr. Canning came and talked to us about this, so we could understand and we could have a level of comfort with this.
Yeah. Well, we can have a conversation with the chief or the deputy chief, about that, but because they would be able to provide the.
I think it just would be helpful because we need to understand the firepower when we transition in from it based on what we're saying here. But also, Mr. Canning, he's our QPA person, and he's signing this too. He's got to know And I think in light of what the things that are going on in the public today, I think this would be a conversation that would be appreciated by us and also the public as well.
Yeah. Well, again, we can have we can talk with the chief and the deputy chief. It's Sean Canning, our QPA, puts together all of the information, but he's in South Jersey at the moment. So.
Well, we'll take the chief and the deputy chief. We need to know about this. You're talking about long guns. You're talking about all this stuff. So, Mr. Wilby. Yeah. I want to, Mr. Wilson, you want a motion to table this?
Thank you, Council President. If there's no other discussion and no one else has anything to say, I would definitely like a motion to table this. And that would be, I'm asking to table number 201-06-18-24. A resolution awarding and required disclosure awards to Modern Materials for supply of police firearms.
Okay, as a point of order, we can move to table this. You want a motion to table?
Yes,
Councilman Wilson?
that was a motion, sir.
Anybody want a second? I'll second.
Need a roll call.
Roll call.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
No.
Councilwoman David?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Council President Cobb?
Yes.
Okay, final vote count is 3 yes, 1 no. Motion carries.
Okay. Next resolution is Resolution 204, a resolution recognizing June as Caribbean American Heritage Month. We pulled that. Ms. David,
Yes.
you want to speak to this? You put this on there.
I pulled it separately as a Caribbean American. I think it's to be recognized separately because there's a lot of us here. And I want it pulled separately. So you guys have the resolution in front of you, or do you want me to read it?
Can you speak into the mic,
Okay.
please?
Do you guys have the resolution in front of you, or want me to read it? I asked for it to be pulled separately earlier today, and I asked for it to be put on the agenda as a Caribbean American. So that's why I thought it was very important, because there's a lot of Caribbean Americans, like my grandparents, who fought for World War II. Okay? Anybody up here want to say anything? Anything? Comments? Okay.
You got a,
You can read it. You can read it.
huh? Well, a motion and a second. Excuse me?
We usually read these ordinances.
Okay. Whereas the month of June has been set aside to honor the cultural, linguistic, ethnic, and social diversity of Caribbean Americans, and whereas millions of individuals in the United States have Caribbean roots, and while some came of their own volition, others were forced to our country as slaves. And whereas despite the tribulations of the Caribbean people, Caribbean Americans have triumphed and are essential towards the backbone of American society. Their efforts and successes exhibit valiant determination, a devotion to community, and patriotism. And whereas Caribbean Americans have excelled in many facets, including education, sports, music, government, and the armed forces. Whereas many Americans, well known for their contributions to America, came from the Caribbean and have had Caribbean roots, including Alexander Hamilton. And whereas a United States House of Representatives first recognized Caribbean American Heritage Month in 2005, and the Senate and White House first recognized in 2006. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and the city council of the city of Englewood hereby recognize June 2024 as Caribbean American Heritage Month. And I would like to say also, my grandparents who came here for World War II came to the country because many people did not want to fight the war. So in order to get immigration status, you had to come through another way, which was fighting the war. And I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad to have my Caribbean heritage. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khan.
Yes.
A special thank you also to Ms. Nia Harmon, who put together the annual Caribbean American Parade in the city. It was also the same day as the Israel Day Parade, and she and her father had done a tremendous job in raising.
Rick, come on. Rick, come on. Rick. Go ahead, Mayor. Go ahead.
Thank you, and the record should also reflect that the use of foul language does downgrade our YouTube for the people that are watching this. Also the content of what the gentleman likes to spew. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Nia for single-handedly putting together year after year a very robust Caribbean parade. The Caribbean American community is one that's well known to my law practice and me personally, but in this city is now occupying a significant populace and is growing very comfortably and proudly. And it's very important that we, as elected officials here, not only tip our hat to this beautiful fabric of America, but that we also make sure that that community is represented adequately in the Planning Board, the Board of Adjustment, all the other thought boards of our city. And I'm happy to entertain any applicants or anybody who's known in this community and would like to continue to lead it. A step forward for that community is a step forward for every community, and we should be celebrating on our Saturdays and our Sundays and our Fridays just about everything that makes our city diverse, special, and very loving. Thank you.
Thank you. So next we have, I guess there was a question to pull. Oh, let's vote on 204. We need we have it already. We have a motion in a second already. I believe. You don't have it? I thought we motioned in second. I thought.
Yes.
The motion, Angela, that was the second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Roll call.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilwoman David? Yes. Councilman Wilson?
Yes.
Council President Cobb?
Yes. Next, we have Resolution 205, a resolution honoring Dwightmore High School DMHS class of 2024. Whereas the Englewood School District will graduate the DMHS class of 2024 on June 20th, whereas DMHS class will receive their diplomas as evidence of meeting graduation requirements. Whereas DMHS class. Where is DMHS class of 2024 has demonstrated their ability to navigate hard times and issues such as COVID-19, whereas DMHS class of 2024 has been impacted by the social unrest due to the murder of George Floyd, which galvanized the public locally, nationally, and internationally. Whereas the DMHS class of 2024 is in dealing with COVID-19 and George Floyd events, stayed focused on their educational journey, whereas the DMHS class of 2024 will carry on the legacy of graduates representing the school district and the city of Englewood as difference makers. Now there be it resolved that the mayor and the city council of the city of Englewood in Bergen County in New Jersey hereby honors and salutes the Dwightmore High School DMHS class of 2024 on their graduation. I need a motion and a second.
I motion.
I'll second it.
You got an answer? Roll call.
Councilman Rosenzweig?
Yes.
Councilwoman David?
Yes.
Councilman Wilson?
Yes, I'd like just to applaud the graduates.
And Council President Cobb?
Yes. Next, we're going to go to communications from the governing body, starting with Mayor Wiles.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For those that are here in the well and those watching it, Pastor Gibbons, thank you for joining us, Pastor. We are in the middle of a heat wave in our region. Englewood Public Library will be available as a cooling center. I know that the county has also established redundant cooling centers in Hackensack and neighboring communities as well. The library will be available Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m. Please take precautions to stay cool. Drink plenty of water, stay out of direct sunlight for prolonged periods of time, and wear sunscreen, hats, protective clothing if you do need to be outdoors. Please also try to take an extra minute to check in on family or neighbors who are elderly or might otherwise need assistance during a heat wave like this so that we can make sure everyone stays safe. The Juneteenth schedule has been posted. I want to thank Mr. Hoyle, who's here at the Jabari Society, for a robust program, including all the sponsors. Tomorrow, June 19th, we're celebrating Juneteenth, or Freedom Day. It's a variety of events coming later this week to commemorate the holiday, and I encourage all of our residents to join, but more importantly, to learn and celebrate so our entire city can enjoy the experience together. Again, I want to thank the Jabari Society of Bergen County, the Bergen County NAACP, our city council workers, and all of the wonderful organizations and individuals who make these meaningful events a success each year. The Public Works schedule is going to be changing this week because of the Juneteenth holiday. There will be no garbage or recycling pickup on Friday, as city agencies will be closed in observance of this holiday. Please visit the city website or Facebook page to view the full schedule. Eid al-Adha, I want to wish a blessed and joyous Eid al-Adha to our Muslim friends, our neighbors. We join you this week in celebrating faith, family, and friends, and the joy of sharing life's blessings with one another. An update, ladies and gentlemen, on the Master Plan citywide meeting. Thank you to everyone who has attended our ward meetings regarding the city's master plan. As a reminder, we have an additional citywide meeting plan meeting coming up Monday, June 24. That's this coming Monday at 7 p.m. at the Crown Plaza, 401 South Van Brunt Street. Please join us for a recap on the discussions that have been held in all 4 wards and to give additional input on your own vision of what the master plan should look like moving forward. This is one of our greatest tools in ensuring the kind of future that we chart out, and we want to make sure that your input is as much possible part of it so that residents will be ensured that the best plan will work forward for the entire city. Again, it's a 2-year plan. This year to put that map out, and the next year for the governing body to put ordinance and put teeth behind truth to power to make sure that nobody would change the city that doesn't go in line with the residents. There will also be a parks meeting hosting a presentation and discussion on city parks on Tuesday, June 25 at 7 p.m. in the municipal court here. We have a tremendous park system, but we know there are ways and there's room for improvement, so please join us to learn about our facilities, know your thoughts, and improve our parks. I'm getting emails now on all sorts of nuances as people are out venturing. This will be part of the master plan as well, and I want to thank all those that are leading this concurrent effort. Again, July 1st will be our fireworks. Thank you to our sponsors. It was one phone call, ladies and gentlemen, to all 3 sponsors, and a number that I put in front of them, they all said yes. Thank you to Englewood Health, our hospital, for being there with us in our challenge and, most importantly, in health. First Commerce Bank, as well as ShopRite. Congratulations, as Council President indicated, to Dwight Morrow High School graduates. I look forward to speaking at their high school graduation in the next few days. And for all of you who would like to be filled in the week's events, emails, communications, and others matters, feel free every Friday. I've been doing this religiously for the last 4 years, every Friday at 11 o'clock on the Facebook page of the Englewood Library for coffee with the mayor, or virtual coffee with the mayor. If there's any special guest you think we should be hosting, or any people you'd like to get to know that have impact on the city, you should feel free to reach out to Henry Washington, who is our program director. God bless. Stay cool.
Thank you. Next, Councilman Rosenzweig.
Hey, thank you. I'll try not to repeat too much of what the mayor just said, but I hope everyone has a meaningful Juneteenth tomorrow and later this week, and please look at the flyer for the many excellent events. And again, the 2 final master plan meetings next week. Again, to mention June 25th, right here in this room, a week from tonight, the strategic park presentation, which is the committee chaired by Dr. Lisa Wasatsky, will be having a public presentation, so I encourage everyone to come because the parks affect everyone, the youth and older people as well. Congratulations to Mayor Wiles and Dan Tokea for the results on primary day. I look forward to working with both of you in the years to come. And also congratulations to Rotary. There'll be an installation of a new president, Janet Pagan, next week, and to Scott Radine, a former council president and a longtime council person, as the district president also next week. So congratulations to them both. Thank you all.
Councilwoman David.
Just a brief update. I met with Steve Weissner over at Flat Rock, and I haven't been there many years because when my children, I used to go there all the time, but it was like really great. I just breathed, I did yoga, I worked out, I had a great time. Also, an update on Glenbrook Heron Tryon Park. The fencing project has been completed with new fencing. New mulch was added. Two new backstops were installed, and one of which will be reimbursed because from the insurance, which is about $13,000. 2 backstops were repaired, new crossbars, new fencing, 8-player dugout structures with 8 on-deck, corrals installed. Restrooms were cleaned and the tiles were repaired. The marshals removed from the roofing. Gutters and sidings were cleaned. Concrete walls were power washed. Weed control and summer fertilizer on the large baseball fields. The sprinkler systems in service, and upcoming, we do have the small baseball field to be converted into 50-70, intermediate baseball field. The dugout roofing for the large baseball field, we have the player benches have been ordered and 8 dugouts to be installed upon receipt. The new bleachers also been ordered. There was a lot of work, and thank you, Mr. Berkner. New bleachers have been ordered. Picnic benches have been ordered to be installed upon receipt. And also, I want people in the 3rd Ward to save the date. We have the Actors Fund is having giving back to the community event that's coming up on the, the 13th? Is it the 13th? July 13th. He's giving back to the third party on the green. So there'll be food and everything, and you sit down with me and let me know, and there'll be other officials there as well. And I think that'd be great. Other than that, anybody who want to reach me, know my number, 201-923-0043, and I'm also accessible, and I get back to people when they call me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Councilman Wilson.
Thank you, Council President. First, giving honor to God. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. I want to first say congratulations to the 2024 graduates. And sometimes we think that it's a normal occurrence. And there's so many challenges for our youth today to stay in school, so many distractions for them to navigate through the minefields of higher learning. So kudos to our Dwight Moore High School students who have graduated, and especially the ones who took the extra step that have graduated with honors. And Juneteenth, as a lot of us know, is a national holiday and a celebration that we have endured here in Englewood for some time, for over 10 years. And so we have an upcoming event Thursday starting the kickoff June 20th from 5 to 10, Friday, June 21st from 5 to 11, Saturday from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday, the 23rd from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. And in spirit of the Caribbean American Heritage Month, there's institutions here that haven't had the opportunity of ribbon cutting ceremonies. And Flav's Grill on 191 First Street in Englewood is one of those. So if you feel it and you want to patronize businesses in our town, a great place to go, great food, great atmosphere. The master plan meeting for the whole town on the 24th of this month at our hotel here. I can't stress enough how important your input is. You don't want just us planning your future. You want to be a stakeholder in what your future looks like, what your quality of life looks like. And if in fact you don't show up, that quality of life that you may be expecting is probably going to be missing. So I encourage each and every one of you to come out to our master plan on June 24th. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Good evening, and I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out. And I would just like to start by finishing what Councilman Wilson just talked about with the master plan. You know, what people observe is that this is a plan for the entire city, but yet and still, your representation hasn't been there at every meeting. And what I mean by that, every council member should have been at every meeting. And why? Is because you're going to vote citywide on the ordinances that will impact the city for the future. So you need to hear what's going on and hear what people are saying throughout the city. That's what representation is about, hearing and understanding what people's concerns are, not just in your ward, but in all wards. When you sit up here, you vote citywide. So it's important that happens, and hopefully everybody will attend on the June 24th meeting at Crown Plaza. I think that's very important. And on June 25th, they have this park, vision of the parks. I think that's also important that you go there. Don't let somebody dictate to you what your parks are going to look like. Give input so you get what you want to get out of what your parks are going to look like. You are the stakeholders here. You pay the bills here. So you better raise your voice and let everybody hear what you want, what your expectations are, and hold people accountable for that. Today, I had the opportunity to attend the graduation at the Janice Dismas Middle School. Over 200 young people graduated today. And I think that it's important that we support our young people. The stock is good. I think it's promising. But again, they need to know that people support them. On Thursday, the high school graduates. And if you know somebody or if you have time, you should come out and support them. For us that have attended this school system, we know what that means. So I hope that people could come out and support these young folks with that. And I think that it's important that we continue to have people come to these meetings to see what's going on, to participate. If you don't participate, you're just existing here. There are a lot of good questions. I think people should continue to ask the questions. It's very important that you do that. And don't take anything for granted, because nothing's for granted. So I hope that people will get involved, stay engaged, so that they can make the city that they hope they want it to be. You moved here, you decided to raise your family here, and you invested here. Doesn't matter what size your house is. Everybody counts here. If you live here, that means you made a commitment to the city. So the city needs to make a commitment to you. I want to talk about Councilman Wilson and Fire Lieutenant Hoyle. for their commitment for bringing Juneteenth to the city of Englewood. What is this, 12 years? 12 years. These gentlemen, 12 years, they've made this happen. So I want to thank you for your efforts in bringing this and making this happen. So, yep. And people need to understand what Juneteenth really means. If you care about people, you'll know what it means. Because that we have to understand what that means and what it took for us to get on the other side of that. You know, so I thank you for that, and hopefully people will take the time out to research and understand what Juneteenth was all about. For us and our families who've made that journey and who have known people from off the plantation, we understand what that means. But there's plenty of work that's got to be done. That's why people have to invest in their communities, and we have to talk to people about doing that. So hopefully we'll have a good week, gentlemen. Thank you for your commitment to the city. I'd like to thank Mr. Wilson, Doug Wilson, as we had him there earlier today, for his 30 years of service to the city of Englewood, which is important. And we got somebody else, firefighter Hoyle, has also got a long tenure, as well as fireman Wilson, 30 years. Thank you guys as well. But we got much work to do. So I want to thank you, and hopefully we have a good Juneteenth. And the flag raising is on Thursday. At what time? 7 p.m. If everybody's available, please come. It's always enlightenment of the people who are speaking. And then on Saturday, the parade is what? 10? Yes. 10 a.m.? Yes. Right? 10 a.m.? Lieutenant Hoyle? Thank you. So just want to make sure, so we're there on time, we don't miss nothing. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Hoffman. I'll give it to you.
Thank you, Council President, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot to report on. Luckily, the members of the governing body have reported on several of the items. So I want to congratulate our high school graduates from Dwight Morrow, which will graduate on Thursday, as the Council President just mentioned, as well as Dwight Englewood and the Mariah School. The city's annual fireworks show, the mayor has already spoken about. And you've heard about our Juneteenth festivities, so there will be the flag raising at City Hall at 7 o'clock on Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening. And then please walk on over to Depot Square, where the festival will be commencing that evening. There'll be rides and different attractions, and there'll be the opportunity for entertainment and camaraderie. So as has been mentioned, the festival will run through Sunday night, June 23rd, and it ends at 9 o'clock. So you need to get there before 9 o'clock on Sunday. So start on Thursday and enjoy the activities. On Monday, June 24th, PSE&G will begin a 12-week construction project to rebuild the Englewood Cliffs substation. This is the substation that provides electricity for the city of Englewood and several of our sister municipalities. So this project is going to take, as I said, about 12 weeks, but it's going to necessitate the closure of East Palisades Avenue in the borough of Englewood Cliffs. But that closure will be from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it will necessitate detours that will go through the city of Englewood. Some of those detours will be for bus and truck traffic that'll go north on North Woodland Avenue. There's NJ transit bus routes that are going to be affected, and there's also truck traffic that will be sent up that way. There's going to be a separate car detour, so we will be posting that information on our website. There will be wave notifications that will be going out, and we will do our best to communicate with our residents about this. So this is something that basically we found out about yesterday, and was the meeting today? I'm losing track. So we had a meeting with PSE&G, a Zoom meeting just about this, and New Jersey Transit and all of the other affected parties. Their goal is to have this project done before school opens on Labor Day. So, most of the work is going to be done in the borough of Englewood Cliffs, but the detours will affect our residents. It'll affect traffic here in the city. And anybody that's using New Jersey Transit, they're going to be notified. But if you have neighbors that use New Jersey Transit bus particularly, please let them know about that as well.
When does it start?
It's going to start Monday, June 24th. So this coming Monday at 7 a.m. They're going to be closing the road. Basically, it's going to be closed all summer. Yes, both sides. And the road will be open at 4 p.m. They'll start to open the road at 4, so the road will be open at night for two-way traffic. But this will serve our energy needs in the future. Also, next Monday, June 24th, Bergen County will begin milling and paving of Grand Avenue. This is going to be a one-week project, and it's going to be done at night. There's going to be a pre-construction meeting about this tomorrow, Wednesday, June 19th, and then after we have the pre-construction meeting, we'll have notifications about the project, and we will send those out again by Rave and by our social media platforms, and then the information is going to be hand-delivered to the businesses and other people that are on the affected road. And again, this is something that we found out about yesterday. So, no, we might have found out about this on Friday, but we were able to move this work because the county wanted to start the work on Thursday night. So they wanted to start it this coming Thursday, June 20th, and that would have just been very traumatic here in the city, and we didn't want it to affect the beginning of our Juneteenth festivities, so we were able to have it moved. But again, that's going to start next Monday night, June 24th. We've talked about the master plan, so please attend that. We've talked about the town hall meeting for the recreation strategic plan. This is something that has been in the process for about a year. We've been working with professionals from Rutgers University, and some members of the strategic planning committee are your neighbors and friends. They are Englewood residents that have given input, but we need everybody to participate, as I believe the council president said, so that you can look at the parks and say what's important for each park in each of the wards, and how can we use this as a template to invest in the parks over the next decade or 15 years. So it's important, if you're able to attend, please do that. Also, the city will be applying for a municipal aid grant to reconstruct Spring Lane from Ingle Street to Hillside Avenue. The application is due on July 1st. The council, part of the application process is that the council has to pass a resolution. So we will be putting together an application, and we will ask the council to pass a supporting resolution at the June 2nd meeting. The state will take a resolution supporting the grant application through July 31st. So this is something that the city engineer and I and our grant writer had a meeting about today, and we were looking to see how we could leverage our road paving program, as well as take advantage of other funding, so that we can do more paving, more reconstruction. We're also going to be looking to see about improving 4 intersections under the Safe Streets to Transit program. And again, that grant application, that's a fast turnaround. That's due by June 30th, and the state will take a supporting resolution through the end of July. So please don't bother our engineer. He's got to take a look at a lot of data points for the June 30th application, but this again is the opportunity to have additional work done in the city with grant funding, so that we can use more of the money from our 2024 capital budget for work that cannot be accomplished with grant funding. And then, last but not least, June is Men's Health Awareness Month, so this is a good time to step back, take a look, and say, make an appointment so that you can have a physical, get yourself checked out, and make sure that you're healthy. So the reason I'm closing with this is because in January, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and it's something that you don't have any symptoms about, but because I was able to have a PSA test with my annual physical, things were identified. So that gave me the opportunity to pick the type of treatment that's best for me and allow me to go on and to accomplish what I want to accomplish and to be healthy. So please make sure that everybody, that you go get your physicals and that you take care of yourself. So the treatment that I selected was the best for me, and I'm looking forward to a positive outcome, but everybody needs to look and take care of themselves, whether you're a man or a woman, and that way you can take care of others. So, thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Good health, Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you.
Now it's the time. Going to open it up to the public session. Your name, your address, and 3 minutes.
I'm going to speak loud enough so everyone can hear. It's very important that you hear what is being said, whether it's from me or from you or from anyone sitting up there. They have a microphone, and it doesn't seem to help the situation at all. Now, I'm sitting here, I don't hear very, but I hear enough that is going on. And I'm sure there are some people in the back who do not hear everything. Okay, my minutes are going to be more than 3 minutes.
It's going to be 3 minutes, Ms. Jones, right here.
I want to say, Mr. Hoffman, I'm still waiting on my screen. You know that.
I know, yes.
And you know, and every time I go down that screen, it's bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. And you told me last week, about 3 weeks ago, you're going to have it fixed. I know it's not your fault, but everybody has to work together.
You're right.
Okay? And it needs to be done. What about the parking for the handicap? There is no parking on Palisades Avenue for the handicap. I mean, we got all kinds of fire hydrants. You can't park next to this fire hydrant, but you don't have anything for the handicap. And there are a lot of people that are handicapped. I'm looking at a lot of people that's handicapped that are younger than I am, and they're handicapped. We need something there. And also, I want to thank you for the youth. Now, what are we doing for the youth? The summer is coming. The summer is here. And we don't have anything. What about a swimming pool? We got a swimming pool up there at the school, at the Dismas School. I think that's junior high school. But what about a swimming pool down here at the McKay Park?
Yeah,
For older people, not only for the babies, but for young people, young adults. They need things to do because things are getting worse. They don't have anything to do, so they run in the street. Now, not only run in the streets, they do it hurting other people. So you need to give them something to do. Not only that, what about building a skating rink? Getting a skating rink. Everybody does not do hockey. That's not for most of the blacks in this country. That's not. We need a skating rink for the young people, for everyone who knows how to skate. I know how to skate.
Ice skating or the other kind of skating?
Huh?
Ice skating or roller skating or?
You roller skating where?
No, I'm asking, is that the kind of skating rink you want?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. I'm not going to be here much longer. That's it. And then I want to thank Mr. Wilson for acknowledging the graduates. That's very important to acknowledge the graduates. Because it is a tough world out here. Not only for them, but for the adults. It's a tough world out here. And we have to give people the recognition. It's one thing to have all of these offices up here, but to do another years. This is a shame. And when I look at, I haven't lived there for years, and I'm seeing the same nonsense going on. There is nothing, no recreation figure for the people, for the older people. I understand Mr. Drayford, when he was here, they had money to have a recreation. And what happened to the money? And what happened to all the things? They're not doing anything for the people. So please, I'm begging you to do things for all the people, not for just us in the fourth ward. And I just have to say this master plan is the devil. Because I don't see you asking people to give you ideas when you've already done ideas. You've already done it. Most of it has been done.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Thank you. Okay.
Most of it has been done. And I think we need to stop this nonsense and let everybody know from Jump Street, start it over again and let the people know what they, and ask them what they want. Thank you.
Hi, Suzanne Rubin, 369 Elwood Terrace. Thank you for having me tonight. Mr. Hoffman, I want to say I hope you have a full recovery and
Thank you.
feeling well. In line with your comment about health and making sure everyone takes care of themselves, I want to speak to council as well as my fellow residents. There is a Summer Steppers program that includes water aerobics for adults in the community, and that is on Tuesdays and Thursdays starting in July, and it goes through August. That includes stretching and walking as well as water aerobics. So, to your point. The other item is started on June 8th and it goes until August 24th. And this is Walk and Talk with Health Providers at the Flat Rock Nature Center. And this is from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. the second and fourth Saturday of each month. So I hope you'll all take advantage of the wonderful programs that the Board of Health has been working on, as well as the Parks and Recreation and the Community Chest. So,
Thank you.
at McKay.
The city's closed tomorrow? The city's closed
And it's
tomorrow?
Thank you.
You're closed tomorrow? The city's, oh, no, Friday. Friday.
John Babb, 213 2nd Street. So, I guess, Mr. Hoffman, you mentioned before that the substation power in Englewood and the surrounding towns is going to be down for about 12 weeks. Did PSE&G happen to give information on how they're going to be servicing Englewood and those other communities while the substation's down, and what their plans were if there was in the event of an emergency outage, especially during the summer months? So these 12 weeks are going to be over these 3 hottest months of weekly service. The cooling station would be moved then. So I just wonder if they had offered any kind of, or at least explained how they're diverting power from, if they're not using this substation, it's going to be out.
Well, I apologize if I gave that impression. What they're doing is they're rebuilding the substation, but they're digging up the road. They're going to be running more lines into it. So they're basically going to be, I'm going to call it, they're going to be tunneling through, or they're going to have to blast through that rock to get there. So the substation will be online, but they're laying cable. They're going to be bringing in additional power, and then they're going to do the transfer once the power gets there. So, okay.
Somebody turned it off, I guess.
It's all right, I can talk loud. All right, so I first and foremost want to talk about being congratulated for being the presumptive nominee for the council at large. It's really insulting, especially to the 4th Ward and people of color at Englewood, that this candidate, Dan Tokier, who was shot by Lisa and Ken, has never presented himself to the black community. What is wrong with coming down and engaging in conversation if you want to so-called represent us? You don't represent us. Why is it that people keep making their backroom deals and then presenting people to us like we're just stupid? We're not going to fall for it, Ken. We're not going to fall for it, Lisa. I don't care how many black churches you come to. I don't care how much you put a lipstick on a pig. We're going to confront Dan. We're going to challenge him, and we're going to do what we have to do to turn things around. Second, I want to talk about Juneteenth. My ancestors were enslaved because of people that have a lack of humanity. I get very insulted when I see what's going on in Palestine, and Mr. Wiles insists on talking about Israel. What is wrong with you? Do you not understand or see what's going on? That babies are being blown to bits? Do you not understand what's going on in Gaza? Do you not understand what's going on in Khan Yunis? Don't you see that this world is going to World War III because of Ukraine and the inability for people to stop waging war, to steal land, and to kill people? I would be ashamed to even utter the name or even to talk about my prime minister, who is a war criminal, and his defense minister. Plausible genocide. It is no longer a figment of your imagination. Countless people are dead under the rubble. Me as a person, as a descendant of slaves, is highly insulted. Zionism is the same thing as Nazism. It's the same thing as the Ku Klux Klan. It's racism, white supremacy all over again, and theft of land at U.S. taxpayers' expense. Israel has gotten $396 billion of U.S. taxpayers' money to kill people, to occupy land. And it's not just in Israel. It goes into Haiti. It goes into Sudan. It goes into the Congo. It goes into South America. It goes into all over this globe, this cancer known as Zionism. I'll be ashamed of myself, Mike. You're an unavowed Zionist, same thing as Ken, which is the same thing as a racist. Likewise, Lisa, we see you for what you are. We know what racism is. Having a disconnect and then talking about Eid. You are bombing people in Ramadan. You bomb people in Eid. You're bombing their mosques. How dare you speak to the Muslims or try to act like you care about them. You don't care about them. You bomb on the Sabbath. Get out of here with that bullshit.
Leroy Campbell, 287 Tenafly Road, Englewood. I have a couple of things, but the first thing I want to address is, and I'm not piggybacking on Mr. Willoughby. Mr. Willoughby speaks for himself, but what I want to know is, Ken, you made a statement that you're looking forward to working with the mayor and Mr. Topia. There's a general election in November. Neither one of these gentlemen has won the election. So how can you sit there and say you're looking forward to working with them when neither one of them has won the election? They won their primary, yes. We all understood that. But to sit there and say that you're looking forward to working with two people that hasn't even won an election, to me, that's kind of mind-boggling. I mean, I don't understand how you can make that statement. The other thing is our police department. We need to know what's going on in our police department. I mean, we had an incident where two officers had to submit their guns because of incidents. And I'm sure most of you probably know about these incidents by now, at least by now. I mean, what's going on? I mean, these people took an oath to serve and protect. And it's like chaos in this city when it comes to our finest, as the mayor liked to address them, as our finest. I don't get it. And then none of this information get to the public. Everything is hush-hush. It's like if it's a big secret. Nothing happened in this city is a secret. It gets out one way or the other. People find out, especially people like myself, because I'm concerned about what's going on in this city. And if you can't trust the police, who can you trust? Because they can't trust themselves. They can't trust themselves, and it's a shame. And don't get me wrong, there are some good cops in this city. There are some good cops in this city, but there are some bad ones too, and they need to go. They need to go. So, Mr. Hoffman, you need to take a look inside that department and make some strong decision, because it's bad. It's really bad.
Since I don't see anybody else, I'm going to close the public session of this meeting, and we're going to go into closed session. Mr. Bailey.
Yes, sir. Be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Englewood that a meeting closed session to discuss a personnel matter relating to appointment, potential litigation, and matters within the attorney-client privilege, and be it further resolved that the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public upon taking final action thereon, provided it does not constitute an undue invasion of privacy or violate the attorney-client privilege. And be it further resolved that it is anticipated that the governing body will return to open session to consider resolutions 209 relating to the appointment of a director to the Department of Recreation and 210 relating to a liquor license renewal. Just need a motion and a second.
We need
I
a
make
motion and a second.
Council President.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
We're in closed session.